entertaining digital education.
Yeah, that's the disruption from agreed by Apple.
Yes.
And you know, you talk about those in Japan and also in Cambodia. It reminds me about what happened in Cambodia as well. Previously,
What
you know,
happened?
we I think 4 or 5 years ago that we had an app, a mobile app that like Uber, you know,
Oh,
that
okay.
the people, but not a kind of sharing, but the people can uh, uh, download the mobile app and then they can book the taxi through that, and so all
Okay.
the taxi and there are motorbike and even the tuk-tuk, you know,
Yes.
register in the
Yes.
in that app, and then we can book it, and we can, you know, previously we had to negotiate the price, but now we don't need, and we even know how long it will take us to that place or that.
That's great.
Yeah, the place.
And you have a
Yeah.
record. You have a record of
Yes,
it, right?
that's correct.
Who was the
Yeah.
driver, who was the passenger.
Yes.
If there's any trouble, both sides, there's a record right there with the app, so it's safer.
That's disruption. And now you can see
Yeah.
due to the pandemic and also the availability of the digital technology, that now we can, you know, in e-commerce and even delivery, or when in the financial service industry, all that is happening, you know, in Cambodia.
And by the way, we never know which industry gets disrupted by a disruptive technology or disruptive innovation, right? For example, I mean, you and I were able to do now, DG Academy is here, it's online. Of course, encouraged or created partially because we have a pandemic, which is awful. But the thing is we're also able to do things online that it previously required face-to-face interaction, right? A classroom, hotel room. So this is what we're doing right now. In a way, it's not just disrupting education or corporate training, but it's disrupting in a way, or certainly affecting the airline industry, the hotel industry, right? The event industry. All of these things are getting, you know, it's a very much of a shift that's happening, where now time zones become the most important thing. As you said, it's a little bit late. Okay, it is a little bit late, but at least it's not we're only 2 hours apart, so it makes us close. Everything is relative to the time zone now.
You know, while talking on this regarding innovation, you know, it reminds me of how we can see the difference, you know, like is there a relationship, you know, between culture and innovation? Like, as you see, Japan is one of the most innovative nation in the world. Also, South Korea or Singapore, and China, a big country in terms of, you know, politically and also the militarily and economically, and they start investing a lot to drive innovation as well. And Israel, a small nation in the Middle East, very innovative country as well. You know, their company, the startup, have been valued like billions. They become unicorn. Yeah, they become in 2 years. Yeah. So, is there any relationship between culture and innovation?
Well, you know, my hope and view remains that just like a company will be more innovative when the leaders encourage, right, allow innovation, mostly by what they don't do. So a lot of the innovation that came out in my generation has been from Silicon Valley, was a very, and still is, right, very disruptive place, and we're getting that. But Israel is another example. Korea is an example. China is not an example of the government staying out of the way. However, they're much further away from business than they were 30 years ago, right? 40 years ago. The innovation started when the government starts saying, we're not going to, you can't just buy innovation. you can't buy creativity so much. People are creative naturally. And if they're given a chance to do so, they will, if they're driven for it. So I love the word driven. This is to drive growth. The example that I shared, and you can see even a summary of it on Simon Sinek's Start With Why, because he talks about the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers were competing with a lot of other people trying to innovate, trying to invent the airplane. And a lot of those other ones were better funded, with more money, with more encouragement, right? They were just driven themselves. So it starts inside the individual, the group, the entity, and then it's a matter usually of staying out, right? Not, we can't just say, okay, we're going to make a department necessarily. I don't think, the Department of Innovation, maybe, but those are usually bureaucrats, right?
Yeah.
So